Sunshine and lollipops and rainbows and everything is what I like to do when we're together. Sunshine and lollipops and rainbows and everything. That's why we do we're together. Forgot the words. Um, there we go. There we go. Oh, the cold. I'll absorb all that. Well, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show, y'all, and I am your host. Eight Wind is timeless. It all started with a gentle sadness. I am the holder of the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins. I am your galactic daddy-o, sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. Figure a way to stay out there, buddy. Lorenzo, hey, James, what's happening? Charlie Murphy, thank you. James, I had every intention of using Facebook, but I forget since they kicked me off. I didn't have all the passwords up here to get, or excuse me, not Facebook, but regular YouTube and not StreamYard. Because I was going to get into just stream or regular YouTube and be able to make people moderators. But I forgot that I need all the passwords, and they're not right here. I'm sitting here. I just got home, and it's freezing. I mean, it is 27 degrees outside. That's what my car said. And we have to have a commercial break for Sierra Nevada Wonderland, kind of one of my favorites. It is 7.5 of bad alcohol. So, I know I don't show my big ass can opener. I bought this in Michigan about 5 years ago. So pop them if you want them. Smoke them if you got them. If you got them. Here we go. Yes, I got to figure that out, James. Hey, Mo Ray. Oh, did it stop? Did it stop? I got to figure that out. Oh, I'll tell you that Michigan game last night was just mind blowing. The game was mind blowing, and I should have known Wagner because Wagner's brother is in the league. And I should have looked at it because Wagner's brother just got traded to the Celtics. You know, he's bounced around. He was a late. He was like a high late first round draft pick, after he had to run. But you got the ball with 12 seconds left. 12 seconds left. Now, as I pointed out, the refs holding, the center. Now, I said that the center's getting held. He's kind of doing a moving pick as well. But what doesn't make sense is, okay, everybody collapsed. You only need one. Why so deep a shot? He could have taken a couple more dribbles. Matter of fact, it just made no sense. The play call made no sense unless Howard called that and told the big dude to try to get the rebound if he missed. I mean, it's like he panicked. And then the dude who got the rebound, he had time to catch the ball and just shoot a nice little floater. So you see how the fix is, and people don't think these boys be in on it. That was a fix. That was a fix. If there was ever a fix, they were not trying to win. They were not trying to win that game. The number 12 who had the 2-3 turnovers the last game, he had made a 3. So why didn't you run something for him? That's what didn't make sense either, is why run that with Wagner? You want somebody that's quick in that situation. That big, slow dude ain't quick. So that didn't make any sense. Here in Mississippi, after spring break, like weather, we're going to be having cool like temperature for the next few days. Wow, Lorenzo. It's 20. Let me see. Where's the other phone? It was. I'm pretty. See if this sticks with, because I can tell they got the heat on downstairs. I almost put a toboggan on. It's kind of chilly. Okay, my phone. Let me see. It's like 27 in the car. Yes, 27 in here. And it's still been windy. The wind is still probably kicking up a little bit. Let me see. Wind is still at about 8 miles an hour. But it's damn cold. Well, here it says chance of snow through 1 a.m. We're supposed to have snow Tuesday after I don't think we're going to get snow though tomorrow. It's going to get a high of 42 tomorrow. And Thursday, high of 42. It ain't going to snow. But it's going to be 70 by this weekends. So I might have to bust out the swim trunks. Now that water going to be freezing. So, Howard, yeah, it seemed like it did, James. It was some bad coaching. If that's what the play he called, that was stupid as hell. Yeah, they wanted the UCLA Gonzaga rematch. Yeah, SD. I think so too. I'm watching it again now. Wow. Howard tried to lose. He was choked. Yeah, he tried to lose. That's what I'll say. Even Wagner, though. Wagner going to get drafted now, because it might have been shaky for him to get drafted. He'll get drafted now. I couldn't watch the game last night, but I saw the highlights on YouTube. I was screaming at my computer why he took the shot. Exactly. You're right. Michigan did everything to lose that game. Right. Why isn't the NBA, NCAA doing everything about the power drunk referees? Moray. Well, I mean, but see, you have to look at it as the baskets control so much. It don't really matter about the ref calls. But you can see, like with Texas game, where their big fella was getting the charges in the first half. Now, remember the inconsistency of the ref. Second half, late in the game, he called a block on that same dude that got a charge earlier in the game, which it wasn't a charge. He flopped. But the second half, he got the block call. He got the block. So it's like, wait a minute, it's almost too late in the game for you to now call it. But it just doesn't make sense when you got a 7-footer in there that they ain't stopped. He had went to the line almost 4 or 5 straight times down. If everybody collapses and you only down by 1, you take extra dribbles. You take extra dribbles and start going to the basket. And then you got a shorter shot. You go as far as the top of the key. If they ain't guarding you, you go to the free throw line. If they ain't guarding you, you got a little floater in the lane. That is just basketball IQ. That's just basketball IQ. 11 seconds left, you score. How much time they really going to have left? So, but again, we're looking at the people that lost on purpose, with the Chris Webber thing. We saw a repeat of that because it's success for him going to the great, the Elite Eight, his second season. So, and then he'll have 3 classes under his belt next year, and he has one of the best recruiting classes coming in. So, but yeah, they like the all California team. They like that. I can't see them letting Gonzaga win. I just can't see it. But because like, remember, they didn't let Butler win a few years ago. I think Hayward shot the shot that he almost made it from half court. I mean, they met basket manipulated that one out, if y'all remember that. That was Hayward that shot from half court, I believe. They have been a problem for years. Are a big part of I don't watch basketball. Yeah. Stage ref falling out the other night. Bird knows sports. Even the refs play a role, just the players. It's sad for majority of the what is it? Stage ref falling. So many. Yeah, I guess I'll go for Baylor. I like Baylor. I like the coach. The referees are agents of chaos. Back in black and white duality. And they've changed the ref jerseys because they put the black even here. They were never there. I don't know if that ref falling out was phony or not, because he fell out like somebody shot him. I mean, he passed out. That's why they was checking his pulse, because he passed out. You watch the long view, he passed out and hit his head. So I don't know if that was fake. I know they're stunt man, but he passed out like he went unconscious, it looked like. So I don't know if that was fake or not, but interesting. Some players are in on it. So yeah, definitely players are in on it. I mean, you couldn't do it without the players being on it, but not all of them. Not all of them are in on it, but these top players that they plan on career afterwards, because again, Wagner was playing pro ball. Again, they don't have pro ball in Europe, so he's been playing pro ball, so he just followed what his brother did. And his role called for him to miss the shot. That's why it was in his hand. They didn't put it in anybody's hand that had a chance of scoring. Matter of fact, the dude who had got hurt over and over again, number 15, he had made a nice shot. You notice he didn't even touch the ball. So that made no sense to put it in slow Wagner's hand. Just did not, from a coaching perspective, that made 0 sense. 0 sense from a coaching perspective. But you see what they did. They are in like fraternities. Yeah, Drummond hurt for the Lakers. Y'all saw that, him limping off. I saw him limping off. I watched his Bally Sports taking over y'all sports channels. Bally Sports is going to be Fox. I heard that because I've talked before about Bally's used to be, Bally's sell shoes, and then Bally's used to be the like Lifetime Fitness is here. We went to Bally's in the 90s. Everybody was part of Bally's. That's where we hooped every day. Now they mostly they switched them over to Lifetime Fitnesses. But yeah, I caught that. I want to say one of the Fox channels is going to start doing the Bally's. I think that's what I heard, one of the Fox channels. I did hear somebody mention that. They say Drummond has a foot issue. Drummond's probably out of shape. That's what I'm guessing. Drummond was probably out of shape. Yeah, Fox Sports got turned into Bally's. Yeah, I caught some of that. You think UCF players in on it, or is Michigan gave them the game? Michigan gave them that game, Jack. Michigan gave them that game. Kept them in. The refs helped in the first half, calling some of them bogus charges. Have you seen Kyrie Irving's tweet lately? He keeps talking about God. Well, it might be his time is up. What they say is he on the clock. I think he's rebelling. No, he's playing a part. He's playing a part since. See, they got stung twice. Think about who the establishment got stung twice. The establishment got stung by Kyrie with the flat plane, and then with Steph saying about they didn't go to the moon. I mean, they're playing parts. They're playing parts. And I think Steph was just answering honestly about his education. It's a guy that did go to college, but it's interesting. It had him backtracking. Like Nick Cannon didn't even really say anything about the Jewish faith people. Next thing you know, he meeting with a rabbi. So you make that make sense. He did not come out and say anything about them. He just said some European people was living in caves. That's what he said. He didn't really say it was them, but they're like, and then you got Wiley's, and you see Wiley's paid off. He's probably a CIA asset, I'm guessing, in the sports world. And he's like, well, people who study this every day. I study this stuff every day. I got a Torah and I read that shit and try to see these hidden gems in this shit. So don't talk that shit, Wiley. But you are answering for your controllers. That's what they put you out there. You answering for your controllers. So that's all. When you see Wiley talk that shit, how they smack Nick Cannon down. And then Snowfall was interesting. That was interesting tonight. Thank you, brother. When Butler made it to the national championship game in 10 or 11, they tried to make it as real life Hoosiers, the movie. Remember, it happened the same place in Indiana. Yeah. Well, let me get this right. So when that team from Hoosiers won the championship, they beat, and that I think that was 50. Because I'm trying to think of Oscar Robertson's age compared to my mother's age. Because my mother graduated in 59. I want to say, yeah, Oscar Robertson got to be about the same age. Yeah. Because Cincinnati won it the year after Robertson. I think Robertson lost 1 or 2 years in a row. But Robertson's brother, it would have been Oscar Robertson's brother lost to the Hoosiers team. And then Oscar Robertson was the first black high school that won it all. And remember, Indiana had the best tournament in the country. There was no classes. There was no class. There was no section. There was no A, B, C, D, like in Michigan or here, 1A, 2A, none of that. It was one championship. That is what made it so great in Indiana. It didn't matter what kind of school you went to, you all was in the tournament. Scott Skiles shot Indiana down. That probably should be a story by itself. Scott Skiles shot a bunch of brothers down, but he took a high school of about 300-400 and he shot all Indiana down. He was truly the state champion. And again, Scott Skiles now, he coached in the NBA for a number of years. I think he still has the most assists in the game, 30 assists. I think Scott Skiles still holds that record. But shooting the state down, that was a bad man. That was a bad man. 4 killed, including a child in shooting at Southern California office building today. So many wicked media, they trying to get the guns. The Taliban is something else, man. Yes, it is, Charlie Murphy. That reminds me, DJ Vlad from Vlad TV is a snitch. Of course he is, Moray. He was put there to be a snitch, and you had dumb motherfuckers going in front of him telling shit. So what did they think? This guy comes out of nowhere, and he's a little local East Coast DJ. He's the Eastern Bloc cat. So what did you think? You know, I mean, so yeah. And they was acting like you made it when you talked to him on YouTube. That's how they set things up. It's like you really made it when you got to talk to him. That's how they pumped him up and gave him all that money. And then the little elf dude talking about he got an $8,000 check. He is so funny. It's like, what is your talent? You're not a comedian. What is your talent? What makes people want to hang around you? What makes people watch you? It's just funny. It's funny, the mugs they build up, because they build people up. Mugs just don't show up out of nowhere. They build people up. They give people a push. And that nigga definitely got a push from somebody. Scott was a beast. Oh, yeah, Scott. Scott was really, really shot them niggas down. I had a guy who was younger than me but lived in that area. And he was just saying Scott was, because he was rowdy. He was a rowdy dude. But he said he used to invite him over. He'd get drunk with him and shit. And he was just in high school. About Tupac being an order of chaos, niggas in their feelings last night. Yeah, I saw it. I saw what he said. I mean, he ain't say that, but nobody didn't know. You know, people was already saying that shit about him. I think talking to a person like Vlad is part of their contract. I agree. You either think about the whole UCLA run happening because their team is so diverse as Asian and the Asian hate happening. Good point. Scott had high basketball IQ. Yeah, Greg. Plus he had deep jumper capability and quick. Yeah, Vlad is definitely a CIA agent. He didn't just appear out of nowhere. He just didn't appear out of nowhere. And that's how they do. These people just appear out of nowhere. Asians' lives matter. Hit the TV. Very interesting. Crazy how they bought and paid for that black man to beat up that Asian lady on camera and then to push racial divide. Yeah, I saw that too because I highlighted that on Facebook because what they did is, so this dude is an 8-time loser. He's an 8-time loser. He done the one you talking about, the dude who killed his mama. The dude that killed his mama and went to prison. Now he's back out, and and things are so hard for him. The only thing he can do is just knock down this little old lady. Come on, that's a psyop. There's 600,000 Hmong in Minneapolis. I go across the bridge to St. Paul. There's a whole side of town that's just their town, just their part of town. Ain't nobody messing with them people. You try to walk on one of them streets where they live, the Hmong live, and the Vietnamese, and you see if you knocking somebody down or ain't nobody knocking you down. Let them try that stuff here, where some just random old dude is going to knock down a random old lady. Let them try that over there where the Hmong live. See what happened to them. It's not going to be that easy. It will not be that easy, guys. Not that easy at all. Scott had a quadruple double in one of his games with Orlando. Oh, he hooped at state though. I mean, we watched Scott play all the time. That's why we knew he was so raunchy, because he could shoot. I mean, he had range and quick, but dish quick. I mean, if you follow Magic, I mean, not years behind, but I'm saying you went to state, you kind of were following Magic back then. I want to say he was with Smitty when Smitty was up there. I'm going to say Skiles was somewhere in there when Smitty was up there, but older than Cleaves and them. He didn't play with Cleaves and them. Yeah, this incense is messing with my sinuses tonight. Can't have it. Sound like a good idea, but my sinuses are saying no. Didn't break nothing. Jesuit school, the two, yeah. Baylor winning the championship in my hometown. Is in my hometown. Oh, Baylor is in your hometown, D. Still. Okay. Jesuit school, yeah, Baylor is a Jesuit school. A lot of money at Baylor, too. Hell, they put a statue up of RG3. They put a statue up of him for winning the Heisman. Remember that they got what's his name? The Tyler Rose, Earl Campbell. He is up with Sam Houston, where they gave him stars around the state capitol. They gave one to Earl Campbell. They called Earl Campbell the Tyler Rose. Get attacked by people of different races. Wouldn't these Asians, gangs, or mobsters be regulating folks for jumping on their people? That's what I'm saying. That's up here. Ain't nobody messing with them. Up here, they live pretty much in the same areas. I mean, they're so disrespectful to Americans. They can live here for 40 years and not speak English. My neighbors had lived here, had a store, couldn't speak English. The younger people could, but not the older people. They were sitting here cooking and making money and didn't even bother to speak English. They had like 3 generations living in this house next to me. They must have had 15 people up in that house. But the older people didn't speak any English. One dude looked like he could have been one of them, but he's probably, Arvin, Arvin in the Arvin officers is what I'm guessing, because when them folks from North Vietnam took over, you got every right to go after the people that was traitors and killing their own people. You got every right to do that. And that's what happened. And that's why they brought Montagnards here. And that's why they brought Hmong here. Because Hmong are traditionally Chinese people that lived in Vietnam. Montagnards are the same. But Montagnards, you see some of them, they got like afros and stuff, curly hair, slightly darker. And, I tell you another stupid ass thing. The women that blow their lips up, that shit looks so funny. There's a really pretty girl. I knew I might have even dated her sister. I don't remember, but I knew her sister, so I know the family. And she's got her lips all blowed up, and I'm like, wow. So, and it just looks so unnatural. Like some of them can blow them up and it looks natural, but this chick, it just puppet lips. It almost make it look like a puppet lips. Like, chick, you're a pretty girl. Why would you do that? Laos, like Laos, yeah, Laos is true, but that's what was happening. You know, they was going after them, and so they brought a bunch of them here. Same thing with the people from Mogadishu, Somalian. Same thing. That's why the Somalian cop happened to be here. That's why Omar. You know, if Keith Ellison doesn't give up his position, Omar would have never won because Keith would have never lost there. You know, Keith believes in Islam. You know, he's a practicing Muslim, so Keith's a nice guy. I mean, part of the system, but basically a nice guy. I ref the game where his son was playing, so he didn't give me any problems. I live in Portland. It's common here, duck lips. Yeah, duck lips. Duck lips. Hey, Jay, thank you for joining me. So yeah, it looks really just, I don't know. I can just imagine just somebody just, you know, I didn't even want to do it when the dentist wanted to shoot me in the tongue and in the jaw and in your gums. So just to shoot your lips and it makes it look like they're always like, look good. You look at them and their lips are always puffy looking. It's just kind of funny, but hey. And she's got to be in her 40s, probably late 30s, early 40s. So she started trying to stay cute, trying to stay relevant. Your lips is what your lips are. I just be asking out loud questions, 8Win. What did you say? If these Asians getting attacked by people of different races, wouldn't these Asians? Yeah. I live in Poland. I live in Poland. It's common here, Doug. Okay, you said Poland. I thought you said Portland. You live in Poland, Greg. Okay. Hey, Jay, you remember that Kyrie Jenner challenge that was being done a couple years ago? Yeah, I think so. But that was it Angelina Jolie about 10 years ago. That's why, like with the butterfly eyebrows, that ain't nothing new. Look at Elizabeth Taylor and them in the 60s, Twiggy. You know, when the models went from Marilyn Monroe to Twiggy to Audrey Hepburn, you know, the boy shape was kind of, because Twiggy and Audrey Hepburn look more like boys than Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor and Jane Mansfield. It was the opposite. Twiggy was and Audrey Hepburn was the opposite of them. But they was wearing the fake eyelashes then, so that is not anything new. They wearing this shit like this. Matter of fact, I dated a girl 10 years ago, 2010. She was wearing them back then, so they've been wearing them here at least 10 years. It was my boy's mother was wearing them, and she looked really funny with them. 17, 18, somewhere in there, so they ain't nothing new. But you're just now seeing the European chicks kind of caught on a little late because they wasn't wearing that shit a few years ago. Now you see them, all of them wearing it. That's interesting. That wasn't fashion to them in 2010. You didn't see European chicks wearing that shit. So that's interesting. They picked it up. They saw the sisters wearing it. They said, we better. Hey, Jeffrey, what's happening? Thank you for joining me. Hey, Jeffrey, who was Sly and them talking about was stalking them and shit? Was they talking about you, or was that somebody else they was talking about? Nick and them talking about somebody stalking them and shit. I'm like, I know Jeffrey be breaking that heat, so I could imagine you need to stalk them motherfuckers, but it's hard to tell. Hey, Crazy Sarge, what's happening? I like Sophia Loren. What's up? I thought she was cool too. I thought she was pretty. They said that she had an affair with Sidney Poitier. But the best of Sophia Loren picture is her looking at Jane Mansfield boobs. Like Jane Mansfield got the top that's out, like cut to here. And you can see chick is like jealous because everybody is jocking Jane Mansfield. She looking down at her boobs. And it's the perfect picture. It's just like the look of disgust. But you know, Jane Mansfield, she blew her opportunity. She wanted fame so much that she blew it. She could have been Ginger in Gilligan's Island, and she turned it down. The one thing that really would have made her famous, because remember, Jane, she kind of flamed out before she died in a car accident. She was doing porn movies. You can find a porn movie with Jane Mansfield, and then she just get naked, and that's all. Wasn't like she was doing anything, but it was technically porn back then. The one, What's Happening, Aggie Pride. It probably was her. I just remember white teen girls doing it first. Then our teen girls started doing it once it got big. Yeah, it was 2010. I don't know. That's when Gwen was a chick I was dealing with. And Gwen she was wearing that shit in 2010. Now, if Jenner was doing it then, I don't know. What do you think about the cargo ship container that was retrofit with seats for human trafficking? I sent it to you. Yeah, that's nothing new though. They've been found stuff like that. They've been found things like that. It was something very similar. A dude who was how was it? He was a convict or something years ago, and they found him in a container like that, where the container had everything. It had a little air conditioning unit, but it was like a comfortable thing, and he was being shipped around the world, and he had like a luxury container that so that was the first time I saw. When I saw that, it made me think of that dude that they caught in a container. He was some kind of convict and shit. So yeah, that got my so yeah, that's what it made me think of. But it's it's gonna only pick up. That's the thing with Fall Up the Stairs Joey. That's only gonna pick up. That's their thing. Again, Obama's tied to them 3,000 children that was missing at the border that they never recovered. So that was the Obama thing. That seems to be the demos thing. So are we surprised? I mean, look who he put in his cabinet. We're not surprised. I mean, it's just that's the way things is gonna go. Yeah, CJ, nothing is new. I didn't know who they were talking about at all. If I had anything to say to them, I always stay on their channels. I have left them alone recently. I'm trying to be very nice. I didn't know who they was talking about. It just made me think of you. I was like, Jeffrey probably be on them. So I don't know. That's on them. I imagine it's real to them. Somebody harassing them and shit. Stalking, I guess can be a real thing. I'm just glad I don't have that kind of problem, because that can be a problem. I get penalized 10 Dracons, whatever you call it, for wasting beer. I knew I had to drive. I just picked my son up, so I knew I had to drive. So I haven't drinking any beer today. So a cold one tastes good. I had to go into town to the University of Minnesota. My daughter had something going on up there, so we was up at the university for a few hours, which is almost in St. Paul. How I'd come to the Lakers to get hurt because he wasn't in shape. That's what I'm guessing. He wasn't in shape. That's what it seemed like to me. I mean, the dude hadn't hooped. I mean, when they tell you to stay home, you ain't going up in there. You working out in their gym. You ain't doing nothing because they don't want you to get hurt. So you ain't working out. When they tell you stay home, you staying home. So because they don't want you can get hurt trying to practice. So they don't care if you stay in shape. They don't care. So if he didn't take it upon himself to stay in shape, and Lakers had to see that he wasn't in shape. I don't know if he's going to make the difference, but I still stick with it. Harden, they ain't going to let Harden win a championship. Chris Paul ain't going to never win a championship. Like Chris Paul had, 14 assists today? So 14 assists get you commercials? I don't know, 14 assists get you commercials. I thought winning got you commercials. He was like, why are you always hating on Chris Paul? How is it that this 6-foot dude that ain't never won anything but Olympic gold medal, how he get commercials? When this is the land, if you win, you get commercials. How is that? He got more commercials and a longer running commercials than Steph. Thompson had one little milk commercial. Remember the Power Milk? That was his only one. So he got more titles than Paul, but Paul got 5-6 years running? And one reason I don't like Chris Paul had DeAndre Jordan wearing the dress and a wig. Remember that? DeAndre Jordan was wearing the dress and the wig. He was like, oh, my ring has been stolen. And the joke was, oh, you ain't got no ring. You ain't got. TV commercial, they had the black folks say, you ain't got. The double negative. Y'all remember that? But he had DeAndre Jordan wearing the dress. But what the song used to be? I'm down for whatever. And that's what Jordan was saying. Just get me in a commercial. I'm down for whatever. So he had the Farrah Fawcett hairdo with the skirt on. Disgusting as shit. Disgusting looking as shit. But Chris Paul did him like that. And then this motherfucker's so thirsty to be into, he is so thirsty to be in a commercial that he was like, cool. Because you be wearing that shit all day. It's not like you have that shit on 10, 15 minutes. I mean, I know the commercial be only a minute or two, but they be there all day filming that shit, and you got to wear that bullshit and other men looking at you wearing that shit. Some people's thirsty for fame. I'm going to be in commercial, dog. Westbrook had 31, 25, and 14. Yeah, he tied AT Bull. Thank you. Harden playing like he want one. I don't think they're going to give Harden one. I just don't see it. I don't see that. They're going to do Harden like they did Randy Moss. If anybody deserved a championship, it was Randy Moss. And they didn't let Randy Moss get one. Yeah, he tied Oscar Robertson. Oscar Robertson was the only one that had that. In the State Farm commercial. Yeah, T-Bo. He had that Farrah Fawcett hair in a dress. Harden, Westbrook, and Paul wouldn't win rings. Yeah, I agree. I don't think any of those three. Yep, CJ perfectly. Harden, Westbrook, or Paul, I don't think they'll ever win rings. That's why I don't pick. Even with Aldridge joining them, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Sisters are known for having thick lips, but when it comes to asking for some head, why we refer to his name that is tied to Becky? I don't know, because some people call it brain. Some people call it getting brain. So I don't know. Trying to think. Yeah, the first person I did was a European girl. The first person, because I was so dirty. Motherfuckers didn't believe me and shit. And I was so dirty, I left their curtains open this much. And I was like, go in there in 10 minutes and watch. And so I went in the chick's house and I left the curtain. I was only like 14, so I was an asshole. And I left the curtains open like that much. And sure enough, these motherfuckers was in the windows looking and watching her give me head and shit. Because I think she was going in 10th, I was going in 9th. And what's funny is one of the dudes was a high schooler. I was like, when I was in 9th grade, we were still in junior high. This motherfucker was old. Mike was hanging with us, but Mike was old as fuck. Mike was he was probably going into his senior year, but he hung with us because he just was immature. LeBron will three-peat. Yeah, it's kind of looking like that. It's kind of looking like one of them thinking out loud questions. Hey, Win, thank you. How you doing? Thank you for the kind words. That's just another one of them thinking out loud. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it was just them. It was sisters that would do it too. I remember her sister when I was in 10th grade. She started doing it. She's like, I just don't know if you really like it. She stopped there. She's like, you're not acting like you really like it. I'm like, well, the longer you do it, the more I might. Yeah. Now you can pay somebody, and they want a flavored condom. Give them a flavored condom. It seems like everything is okay with the world, as long as it tastes like bubble gum. Is the main character there's a main character in the script? Well, they like keeping him the face. He's the face of the ultimate what is the word? The ultimate sellout. LeBron is the ultimate sellout. Boule on his back. And Boule it pushes education, but here's the man that said fuck education, give me the profession. And yet he can identify with the Boule. Do you see the psychology there? And the Boule is dying because Boule is, the frats are Boule for them. That's Boule training grounds. Because I got teammates that's definitely Boule. I had a teammate took a picture in front of the Kappa Alpha, whatever, sign. He lives in DC because they bought a highway. You know how you can name the highway after somebody if you put up some dough. and like he's taking a picture in front of the frat sign. I mean, you can't be more boule than that. So the boule paid for this part of the road. Oh, it's funny. Can I go live on YouTube with less than 1,000 subs on StreamYard? Yeah, you don't need 1,000 subs on StreamYard. Yeah, you don't. And they had a deal before Christmas because like StreamYard only let you do 20 shows, but if you pay $10 a month, they let you do unlimited. So I paid for the unlimited. That's why you don't see the little up here. What would be? It would be here. That's why when you see up there, and I think it's even a way you can change that. You don't see the duck. Like the people that just take the cheap deal, you don't see you see the duck. But I think it's a way you can even change this. But yeah, you just can't stream on your phone. You got to have 1,000 subs to stream live. Before that was the first part of censorship, and that was under Trump. But that was the first part of censorship because up to then, a lot of people when they started off was doing it with their phones. So and then they did that back in probably 19, I think. It's been a couple years. If you didn't have 1,000 subs, you couldn't do live. And they've switched it too. It's like before when you wanted to do like upload a video, you could upload it. Now they make you upload it on your phones. They make you upload it from your pictures or your videos from your regular pictures and not necessarily just off of YouTube. So they've even switched that. That's an upgrade they've just recently did. Oh. Do those very popular YouTuber vloggers be going into those rooms? Yeah, a little bit. I want to answer his question though. Yeah, Chosen One is on his back. Yeah. Those players' jersey numbers, how many titles they win. I don't know about that. Bill Russell won 11. He wore number 6. Casey Jones. What did he wear? Did he wear 10 like JoJo White? Might have, because I think KC won as many as Bill Russell, though. No, KC retired a year earlier. So he didn't. KC only won 10. Do you think, let me see, where was it? Do you think popular YouTube vloggers be going into those rooms? Well, you've been seeing them at these some of these events. You've been seeing them at events, invited to certain events. And so they get so much attention. And like if Google throws something, you're starting to see these bloggers at them events. So, they could be. They could be. Again, when you get so much light on you, they want a part of the light. They vampires too. So they want a part of that light, especially if they think they can make a little bit of bread off you. Excuse me. So they could be. What happens, in my opinion, if a cop gets off? If this cop gets off, do you think LeBron sold out in high school? I think LeBron's mother got put. I'm convinced that LeBron's mother got artificially inseminated by Nate Thurmond. I'm pretty sure. It's the same balding, male pattern hair baldness, male pattern baldness, the same naturally big build. Thurmond was a little taller. He was 6'10". LeBron 6'8", 6'9". So I just think he was selected, and that's what they do. They select these people. What about David Dorbick? I don't know who he is. You have to hit me. Andre was so thirsty to be in a commercial that he would let Chris Paul and State Farm degrade him like that. As goofy as Shaq, Dwight Howard act like they didn't do goofy shit. They did. Barkley wore a dress. Too. Barkley was on Saturday Night Live with a dress. LeBron's NBA career scripted. The Bible somehow. He went to St. Mary's. Well, Jesuits, Jewish faith people. Yep, Jesuits and Jewish faith people. Bible. Solomon injured him. That's a good call. Solomon did injure him. Yeah, I am trying to tell these people that famous YouTubers are part of the entertainment industry. Well, they get invited to it. Yeah, I don't think they start off at first as that. I think eventually they do get invited to it, and they do turn to it. So eventually, yeah, and not everybody, but you don't see a lot of the children though. Because a lot of these children, for years, the children be the number 1 and number 2, but they're chosen. These people are chosen who they want to get subscriptions. And I know people argue with me all the time, but it's like it just does not seem feasible that a million children just like a certain motherfucker. It just doesn't. And a lot of work they do is during school times, and sometimes they be across the seas, not in America and Europe. But it just doesn't seem plausible that a million children just get to watch it and they just show this kind of love to these people. It's like the stupidest shit to me in the world was the people that open gifts. I don't know if people have children young enough, but my daughter would be fascinated by other people opening gifts. Not her opening gifts. She was watching other people open gifts. And that was the thing when my daughter was like 3 or 4 years old. She liked watching other people opening gifts. I didn't understand that. And she would just giggle and laugh. But all her little friends was the same way. It wasn't just her. They liked other people opening gifts. And then this boy that's about 7 or 8 now, when he was 2 or 3, he was doing that same kind of stuff, giving commercials for toys, basically. And he's supposed to be one of the top earners. It's just not believable. It's not. It's not. Like I've said before on my other show before they canceled it, I did the hit on Andy Dalton. How come that one got 62,000 views? That makes no sense. It makes no sense because there was nothing special about that video. So you can see how they can make your video popular or not. Because there's nothing special about that video. Now, the one that Zach put on his channel that did 100,000 views, that I did on Dame and showing basket manipulation, that's understandable. That was putting out a team, him walking out doing the bye-bye wave. Okay, that made a little more sense. But it just shows you they can press it on for you. They can press it on for you. Like right now it says I got 30 people watching. Don't you know when I stop it'd be like 100 to 200 people, but it only showed this amount. So they suppress views as well. They suppress views. And think about it. However many number of watching is one person that's hired by YouTube to watch me. I remember when I started back in 2017, and it was like always one person that got the notification. But that's the person that works for YouTube. So that was the dude. When they took my channel off, he had a list, and he was like, I'm gonna do the kill switch. The submarine got the red button where the torpedoes go. That's how he was doing. He's like, if he says one more, and his people's in his ear. If he says one more, you gotta kill him. You gotta kill him. So it took a little more to completely wipe it out, but it was something like that. If he says any of these words, make sure you're erasing. Now, Conscious daughter, she was going off on free speech and shit today, and I'm like, right on, because fuck these motherfuckers, right on, because it is pretty much fuck them. There's becoming more platforms that are becoming open. And so that's why a lot of people are moving around. Now, I know Google says they don't care, so you can make a new one. And that's true. They can make you. And that's what it is. They make you. It ain't organic. They do make you. So keep that in mind. They make who they want to get money. Because a silly dude like I didn't even ever watch what the dude they were saying that got caught with his wife, but he made dude in his videos, and he got 1 million some subscribers and doing videos in his car. And like the goofy little dude, this dude is what, 5'6", 5'7", skinny, and all of a sudden everybody wants to watch him. NBA players want to hang out with this dude. This dude has no sophistication. He talking about history. He saw the movie. You saw the movie? That's what history is to you, bro? You saw a goddamn movie and you think that's history? What do they say about a box of rocks? What do they say? Barkley is a kiss ass. It was like these talentless vulgars getting millions of views. What do you think of Ernie? Out of TNT, Shaq is the hung there. It was a brother. They showed when they did the thing recently with TNT, it was that brother and Ernie when they first started. So Ernie was there from the beginning when they was just doing, but again, Ernie's daddy was in the business. Ernie's daddy was a broadcaster. So that's how Ernie got in there. So Trunks, I think he's the handler of the show. Ernie's the handler. He could be. He could be. He could be. Shaq can actually shoot. I just Googled something very hideous. Shaq in a dress. Yeah, yeah. Shaq and Barkley. I haven't, but see, Kenny, they show Kenny, and I should have made a video on it. Kenny wore the pedal pushers. You know what pedal pushers is? Women shoot. Women, the way women wear it. You know how women with pedal pushers are like not the booty shaping pants, but they were skinny legs, because that's where skinny legs come from. Them women clothes. Straight skinny legs is women clothes, and they put dudes in it, but them women clothes, peg legs. And pedal pushers is where they had the skinny leg and then they would cuff the bottom. That's what they call the pedal pusher pants, because when women would ride bikes, they would cuff their pants like that so the pants wouldn't catch in the sprockets. They had Kenny on like that, very feminine. It was very feminine. You know, people caught on. Kenny was like that. Last week, Kenny came on camera like that, wearing that shit. That shit's straight up feminine. And then he got shorts on in the damn commercial, beer commercial. Kenny in 2 commercials. Now think about that. Kenny been on TV over 10 years, being on a major show for sports. Kenny won championships. How many commercials y'all seen Kenny in? He's recently got 2 commercials. But Chris Paul can go a 5-year run. Ain't won nothing. Kenny was player of the year at North Carolina. Chris Paul wasn't player of the year. Kenny played on 1 or 2 championship teams. Chris Paul ain't won nothing. But Chris Paul got a 5 or 6 year run. And I ain't hate, I'm just saying, compare the two. You would think they would have put Kenny in that position. Because winners attract people, not losers. But Chris Paul's place, I guess the loser get it. Not Brandon, not going lie, OG. I think we living in modern idiocracy. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Idiocracy. That's another thing. Y'all see Barkley in the chair where they gave you the donut? Didn't it make you think of that movie? They got electrolytes. Didn't it thank you when you seen Barkley in that chair? Ain't that the first thing you thought about was that movie? Because remember in the movie, the fridge was right here, and if you had to shit, you push the button and you just shit and you ain't have to get up or nothing. You had a microwave right there. Idiocracy, I think the movie's called. They got electrolytes. But didn't you see the Barkley chair? Didn't you think the same thing with that Barkley chair when it gave him the donut? It's the same chair. It's the mocking. It's that same thing. It's that mocking. And Charles going with it. Because Charles is from Alabama. Charles talking about some people were saying it's dudes that should have made the pro. Charles was like, no, they didn't. Charles, you didn't play against top people when you was in high school. You just didn't. How many dudes was great hoopers out of Alabama? Douglas went to Alabama. He was older than me. But high school ball, Charles, you didn't come around no cold hoopers. You didn't come into any cold hoopers until you got in the NBA. You played at Auburn. So you didn't come around any cold hoopers until you got in the NBA. Yeah, Charles, you ain't that tall. And there was better hoopers than you that didn't make it. Shit, that dude that LeBron that was sacrificed, Dean Cook. No way he shouldn't have got drafted. No way he shouldn't have won the NBA. No way. So because LeBron beat you in a game in the AAU tournament, that drops you from you don't even get drafted. You go from the top high school player to don't even get drafted. How is that possible? They blackballed him. And he was sacrificed for Anthony and LeBron. He was there. Noah's thrown in there too. And they blackballed him. You know the Detroit Pistons drafted a dude out of high school that never played with him? Detroit Pistons had a dude they drafted out of high school. He never even played with them. Never made the team. And I'm not talking about Scotty Graham. Because Scotty Graham, I don't think he was a first-round pick. He got cut of the NBA and he got cut by the CBA. It was called the CBA at the time. Scotty Graham couldn't guard anybody. But it was a number 1 pick. I can't even remember his name. But the Pistons, when they was going through their, just like okay, here's another thing. Remember the Pistons was forced not to draft Anthony. Remember they didn't draft Anthony and they drafted the European 7-footer that never became anything. And you remember how they was rewarded. They was rewarded with that championship. They was rewarded with the championship. And that big 7-footer that was sorry his whole career. The Pistons should have had Anthony, but the Pistons was given a championship because they didn't draft Anthony. They was pushing that, trying to bring these Eastern Bloc players over here. So the Pistons, Marinovic or whatever his name was, sorry dude. They used to make a joke when he came in. It was called Marinovic time, which means the game was over in a blowout. Yeah, he was a first-round pick. He was the second overall pick after LeBron. Now, did that make sense to anybody in the world that you would pick him? That Joe Dumars just saw him and said, hey, that guy's better than Anthony, just won the national championship. So think about it as a business strategy. So you want to put butts in the seats, this Eastern Bloc nobody, or you want Anthony that everybody just saw. Who's going to draw more tickets? If you are owning the franchise, and who's going to put more butts in the seats? This Eastern Bloc dude nobody knows about, or Anthony that just been on TV that won the national championship, and you got the number 2 pick. You telling me you're going to draft him over Anthony? Well, they didn't, and they got rewarded with a fixed championship because there's no way that team was better than Shaq and Kobe. It's no way. I remember I couldn't watch the first game, and I was stunned they won a game. And then swept them? Come on, the script couldn't even been any worse. When they lost the first game, I was like, they doing that bullshit. Because there's no way that Shaq and Kobe team should have lost to them. No way. No way. But it was for them picking that scrub. They drafted the scrub, and they got rewarded with a championship. And they don't want Anthony to win the championship. That's why Harden, I don't care what anybody says, Harden is not going to win a championship. They're not going to let him win a championship. They're just not. And so we'll see. But I'm telling you, I don't think they will. I'm almost 100%. Barkley looks dead in the eyes. I told that story before. The person that had the deadest looking eyes I ever met was Ali. Definitely Ali. When I met Ali, and let me see, Brennan was born in 95. Brennan was about 5. So what was that? Brennan was born in 95. So that was maybe 99, 2000. Brennan was 405 when I met Ali. Yeah. So that must have been 99, 2000. His son, because they was living, technically it's called New Buffalo. It's a casino down there now. But he bought Al Capone's house. I don't know if y'all remember that. Ali had bought one of Al Capone's retreats in Michigan. It's like right on the border, not far from Michigan City. New Buffalo is what it's called. And his son was going to Niles School because that's the school district that's near. And his eye, he had the deadest eyes of any person I ever met was Ali's eyes. His eyes were, black like this, black like my shirt. See that shit is taking them pictures? What makes it do that? This other motherfucker don't do that shit. Does this shit do that? Yeah, this shit don't do that. But yeah, his eyes were black, like dead. I shook his hand and he was talking. That's what surprised me because I was watching him and you could tell his wife was ready to leave. And I was checking her out. She had a fat booty and she's much younger. Older. That chick got to be in her 70s too, or late 60s, early 70s. But and what I'll say this has impressed me about Ali. He sat there and did autographs and took pictures, and the majority of people never could have saw him fight. There's just no way. But he was gracious. He was one of the most gracious stars I've ever been around. And he was talking. That's why TV was saying he wasn't talking. I'm looking at this motherfucker talk to people. His speech was slowed and slurred, but he was still talking. But, I've been used to being around punch-drunk fighters, so it's just that's part of it. You see dudes that fight, and they get beat up. You take all them blows to the head, you start slurring your words. Darko Milek, there you go, is a drunk. He often goes to about 10 minutes from my house. Okay, Moray. Yeah, Darko was suck. Pistons would have won multiple championships with Melo. That is why they didn't get him. Exactly. That is why they did not get him because, that made no sense. From a business standpoint, it didn't make sense. Again, you want names that's going to bring people in. Who's paying to see Ben Wallace? There was no big name they had. None of the big names that did they have. Nobody's paying to see Ben Wallace by himself. Ben Wallace was scoring 2 points, he was defensive player of the year, but he was only scoring about 2. He couldn't shoot. But he was a black college dude, I do believe. From all these State Farm spokesmen, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Chris Paul. Chris never won a championship, but got the most State Farm appearances yet and never won a chip. There you go. It doesn't make sense, but it fits into the little guy. It fits into the little guy thing, the lovable loser. And, it's like, I'm sure Chris Paul became all them dudes' handlers. I'm sure Chris Paul became James Harden handler. And remember, I saw a rapper that James Harden was with, and that James Harden supposedly gave him all this money and all these vacarons and shit. James Harden is now a handler. Because remember, dude showed all of it, and James Harden took that back from me. I don't know if y'all remember that, James Harden, but I'm sure James Harden is now a handler as well. Because didn't he start a music label or something? That's why he gave the dude all that. But I'm sure he's a handler now. So that's why I thought that was interesting. No, they didn't sweep them. They beat them 4-1. Okay, 4-1. Yeah, okay, 4-1. James Harden got his own candy line with Trolley. He ain't even the greatest, and he's still face of the candy company. Any MIB winners for tomorrow? MIB. What's tomorrow? The game's Saturday. Major League Baseball. Oh, opening season. That's right. And it's cold as hell. It is cold as hell. It's supposed to be nice though. I don't really mess with I don't bet a whole lot of baseball. It's too many damn games. So no, I'm not betting none. They're taking 10,000 fans, and I think they done sold out the first 20 games. And you got to buy packets. You can't just buy one game. But I'll buy a packet. I love baseball, especially live. Yeah, Muhammad Ali was part of it. He sold out. I mean, after they beat him down, why do you think he kept fighting? I mean, do you think anybody in his right mind was going to fight Larry Holmes and drop all that weight? And they were so afraid of Ali. That's when they poisoned him. Because he thought he was taking some vitamins. And they fucked him up. And so that's why, see, they were afraid of Ali's mouth. They were afraid of a retired Ali. Because remember, Ali took after what Malcolm X did. That's why so many people around America loved Ali, because he took his shit on the road. That was the one way he could make money. He did what Malcolm X was doing. You know, the commercial in the movie, Malcolm X says, and I'm saying a quote in the movie because it did happen in the book, where the European says, "Any way I can help." Well, he's on Harvard's campus. He wasn't going to that shit for free. It wasn't just like, Malcolm, can you come up and, we want you to talk to the rest of these Europeans. Do you feel like it? Malcolm was like, $29.95, and I'll be there. So Ali did it. And that was one way that, because they stifled any way Ali could make money. Ali couldn't even fight exhibitions. The only exhibition they let him do was when he fought Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano must have been 5'8", if that tall. I think Jersey Joe Walcott might have been just as tall. I have to look at the picture as Rocky, because Ali is like 2 feet over it. And they had Rocky Marciano beating Ali in what they called a computer fight. That was the only. But when you saw the computer fight, you knew it wasn't long before they were going to let him fight. Jay, let me know. I'm getting ready for MLB DFS right now. Okay, Jay. Yeah, I don't mess with baseball. But yeah, Ali definitely was one of them. He was one of them. It's like Jose Torres that wrote the Mike Tyson book. He wrote a good book on Ali too, because Ali was saying like he would never be with a European woman, and they was pulling trains and stuff on women and stuff. So they was passing women around from room to room. So Ali wasn't, he wasn't not messing with them. They just told Joe Louis and Ali, don't do it like Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was marrying the chicks and being in all the pictures with the chicks. And they was like, don't be like Jack. Don't shame us like that. We know they want you. You're the champ. You're a big buck. And we know all of them want you. Just don't be out there like that. As long as you do it, keep it on the down. That was the original down low, was not let the press know you was boning all these European chicks. That's what down low used to mean. How did it turn to being that? How did it turn from that? That's what it used to mean. You know, you hitting this European chick on the down low. That's what it used to mean. Now it means something totally different. No, it's not Little Baby. It was somebody else. Or is he on his label too? Leagues are scripted by the draft choices. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, everybody's saying Little Baby. Okay. I'm still trying to figure out some sports betting picks myself. And I got you though. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. This motherfucker said, plug me in. You got to wind me up. Damn, I've been going that long. I guess so. Yeah, I don't really bet on baseball. It's just too many games and it's too many variables. Who's pitching, you got to follow. But the people that do, fantasy sports follow that stuff. I never really follow. I've never played fantasy ball. That never interests me. I'll be here for it. Okay, yeah. I mean, share that information. I don't think that was Little Baby. That was somebody else. That wasn't Little Baby. He took that money from. That was somebody else that had that bag of money and gave him the diamond face watch. That wasn't Little Baby. That was somebody else. And that's another thing. Why do all these grown men take these names? Like when they called him Little Stevie Wonder, he was about 12 years old. So how is it that these grown niggas is taking these little names? Why is that? Now Zach points that out as well. Why do they have to take the degrading names? Little. Hammer was Hammer. I know they must have hated that. MC Hammer. Is he really a hammer? I'm saying that's a strong name. But now everybody got to be young or little. And let me say this about something that people might go over their head too. On Snowfall, the boy is called, what is he called? Man boy, right? Well, that's what they used to call niggas. All grown men was called boys after Reconstruction, not slavery, Reconstruction. Remember that? They all of them was called boys. So that's where that come from. That come from Reconstruction. That's why he called boy man boy or boy man, whatever the fuck his name is. I was watching, I was like, they snuck the Reconstruction. And then with the dad snitching, the family member never talked to Gary Webb. When Gary Webb went and talked to Freeway Ricky Ross was already in jail. Gary Webb brought him the CIA people. Because he was like, well, he went to hear his trial, and then he went to see him. And he's like, talking to him. He's like, well, these two dudes is work for the CIA. He's like, what do you mean CIA? This is who I'm getting this shit from. And Gary Webb is like, what? You're getting it from these CIA dudes? He's like, because he said, no way, he's a snitch. I'm getting this shit from him. Watch Kill the Messenger. And they're going to kill that chick. But it's interesting they threw in that she's mad because of how that she wanted to go after Europeans the way the Europeans slaved the people during World War II, how they locked all the people up. I wonder if they shut all the business. I imagine they shut all the businesses down too, the Chinatowns. But see, Chinese people ain't Japanese. So I bet they didn't. Shut all the Chinese towns down. So I answered my own question. Is baseball the easiest sports to manipulate? Yeah, by far it is. It is. It was started as a fixed sport. I mean, watch the thing on Ken Burns. Ken Burns tells you, players would get together. Either I'll win two, or we'll split, or however we'll make our team the most popular. I'll win two, then I'll go to your thing. I'll let you win two, and then maybe next time we'll split. And then it was the players ran the leagues at first. Baseball ran the leagues. Baseball went in there and said the players was fixing games, which they were, and so they knocked the players out. They sacrificed this one player, and then the owners came in. But at first, baseball was like when teams broke away from the Globetrotters, they would do the same shit. Goose Tatum did it at first, broke away from him. Marcus Hayes, he broke away from him and did his own traveling basketball show, and the shit sold. So that's how it started. So baseball by far is the easiest to manipulate. And baseball players definitely wear earbuds. It's like I showed that picture. One of the first things I showed on this channel was Hank Aaron's 715th home run. The dude sits there and tells him on camera the pitch that's coming. Matter of fact, Hank kind of goes, huh? And the dude gets closer. He's throwing you your favorite pitch, Hank. You don't think a pitcher wanted to be the Trivia Pursuit question? Well, who threw Hank his 715 home run to break Babe Ruth record? Al Downing. You don't think he thought about that? You don't think that he wanted to be part of that history? And it was a brother pitching too, but yeah. So, but watch that first video on this channel. He tells Hank Aaron what's coming. That's how Babe Ruth was doing him the same way. They was giving him home runs like that. Up to that point, it was, hit and run, bunting, stealing, Ty Cobb's type of baseball. But they didn't like Ty Cobb because Ty Cobb busted him out too. Ty Cobb said not just the 1919 Black Sox. He said the 1912 one was fixed. Ty Cobb said all the games was fixed from 12 up until the Black Sox because Ty Cobb played in something like 7 out of 8 World Series in a row. Maybe my numbers might be a little off, but Ty Cobb said all of them was fixed. They ain't bar him, did they? Barred Shoeless Joe that couldn't even read or write. Oh, y'all see, y'all need to bring if y'all hoop, bring your children to Minnesota. You see the girl from Edina got player of the year as a freshman. Y'all see that shit? The female basketball player from Edina got player of the year. She got player of the year as a freshman. She dropping 20 on them at UConn. And so y'all got hoop dreams. Bring your children up here. Suggs is from up here. The #1 top recruit in the nation is from here, playing with Master P's son. So y'all might, if y'all got hoop dreams, Gary Trent Jr., both the Jones brothers, all of them would be the same conference as my children. Everybody hoop here but my younger children that are both big motherfuckers. But you just don't have it, you don't have it. And I'm glad my children, are sacrificed like that. So, and they're all happy children. Their plight wasn't mine. And that's okay with me. Now I see the real game. I'm lucky that I didn't, a word here, word there. And I've been to some of them weird ass parties. I talked to before a week ago about the one I was in Greensboro. And the guy had the goddamn tree in the middle of the goddamn house. April, he's dead now. Yeah, he's dead. Pretty sure. He played for the Cougars and he played for the St. Louis Hawks. Is baseball? Yes. Can I ask the pendant a question? That'll be 95-95. MC Hammer has 38 like murder. I'm pretty sure he didn't pick that name. Well, Brandon, only thing I would disagree with you is when MC Hammer, he worked for Charlie O'Finley, who owned when Oakland A's was winning like 3 in a row. I think they won 3 in a row. Hammer was the ball boy, and everybody said how he looked like Hank Aaron as a little boy. And you see pictures of Hank Aaron and Hammer. So that's where it comes from. They were calling him Hammer as a little boy. So was that all scripted? I mean, he was with the organization then. So, but yeah, go ahead, Moray. I'll get it out. See if it ain't mad. I ain't talked in a while. It'll probably be glad. The pendant only gonna give a yes or no question. So, yeah. LeBron used, but that's the thing is you don't have, and don't anybody that have children get caught calling your children that they the goats, because by calling children kids, you are sacrificing your children to the goat, to the Baphomet. We don't have kids. That's what goats have. We have children. And that ain't even a word anymore. That's not even a word. No one says anything that you have children. Humans have children. We don't have billy goats. We don't have goats. So you got to get that out of your thinking. If you have children, you should never say anything about it. And I slip. But we have children. We don't have kids. But see, that's how they want you to think. They don't want you to have children. They don't want that connective, you having a child. They want you to think of it as a kid, so it ain't really real. It's an animal to you. It's not a child. Only humans can have children. A human child. What did they say? Son of Adam? I don't like it when ESPN be calling black players boys. These are fucking grown men. Yeah, that's they. Well, that kid is that. No, they are even Barkley, motherfucker my age. I don't call my son's friends children or kids. They are men. They are young men. Now, if you want to call them a young man, that's proper. A young man. Now the catcher told Hank, "Good luck." Bullshit, Lorenzo. He bullshit. Barry Bonds home run looked like he knew what was coming too. Of course, he knew what was coming. I had the pictures. The paper put every home run. USA Today put every home run, that 80 home run season that he hit 80 or whatever he hit in one season, and I had every picture. They had little pictures of him hitting it, and of course he knew. Of course he knew. Of course he knew. I'll tell you what though, he took steroids. I never seen anybody's head get that big. His head, he didn't have an O.J. Simpson head. O.J. Simpson has one of the biggest heads. I say the biggest person's head I ever saw live was Artis Gilmore. I mean, Artis Gilmore's head is, I mean, it is unimaginable to see how big a head Artis Gilmore has. O.J. Simpson ain't 7 foot and his head's damn near big as Artis. But who was we talking about? I forgot. It was somebody. Oh, Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds, he took steroids. His head got like he grew up. OJ head. I don't know what kind of steroids make your head get big. Maybe it's good for eating coochie. I don't know. you stop supposed black on Asian crime by making Rush Hour 4 and 5. How can it be Asian crime when they have given us such a classics as Big Trouble Little China? Yeah. Am I going to beat the case against my boss? Oh, that's a good one. All right, let's let it play and show off a little bit. I know I haven't messed with you for a while, but you're only, let me give some pimp talk. You're only supposed to brought out on special occasions, baby. And so Moray wants to know will he'll beat the case against his boss. He is facing an adversary, and he would like some confirmation on yay or nay. So is Moray going to beat the? Do you see? Can you connect to Moray's energy? And give Moray an answer that he'll beat to see if he'll beat the case or not. So I think he wants a honest answer. So to the right, yes. To the left, no. So more confirmation. More confirmation. Oh, wow. That took a big skip. I would say it looks like you are. I would say it's medium loops, though. So be prepared, though. Even though that's confirmation you win, be prepared if something is brought up last minute. Make sure you, what do they say? What's the spell they say? Cross all your I's, dot your I's and cross your T's. Make sure you have all that. But it looks like a pretty strong yes. So we wish you abundance. Rappers really don't have no beef with Hammer. Hammer was so popular in the late 80s and early 90s that they had to gang up on him to take him out. Gangster rap. Peyton Manning head was big too. Yeah, I forgot about that. Really was. Joined Death Row Records. I'll say this about Hammer. Yes. Well, the reason that European people started buying rap records was This Takes Two. I mean, people don't realize that. That was the first real rap song that got continuous play on MTV was It Takes Two. And It Takes Two is the song that made European people buy records and tapes. Now, It Takes Two was a monster hit on MTV, was a monster hit. And it really brought rap into the mainstream. Hammer was on his coattails. Hammer came in next. So for Hammer, it was perfect timing. And I mean, we all should say a word for 2 Big MC because it was like, we rolling. You remember that? 2 Big MC, the hype man. 2 Big MC was before Flavor Flav. 2 Big MC was nothing but a hype man. But that was my favorite part. We rolling, Hammer, we rolling. Because the first time Hammer was on BET, 2 Big MC was with him. So the first time he was on a type of national television, he was on there with 2 Big MC. But he was nothing but a hype man. But I mean, those Hammer, Here comes the Hammer. The Hammer's first hits, monster hits. Monster hits. The shit can't touch this. Monster hits. Monster hits. And I told the concert, I saw Hammer in Kalamazoo. I saw him when he had all his hits, and then I saw him when he started singing that preacher shit. And I've told this story many times. It went from everybody in the damn place jumping, and he had the crowd. It's like a time when you're in a concert and you can see that the entertainer has everybody in there. I mean, that is just such a power that you don't see in individual sports, that you see in entertainers. You can make a play where you get everybody, but what you're singing or what you're playing holds everybody in their hand. Only entertainers, singers, musicians, only they can feel that. You can make a play where you rock the house, but entertainers can put everybody in their goddamn hands. And Hammer had everybody in his hand, and he got to singing that bullshit. We got to pray. And I mean, I had never watched a guy kill that. I had never watched a guy give that away before. I mean, he went from having everybody in his hand to everybody sat down and people started leaving and booing. And I never saw someone give it away like that. Just said, fuck that. I'm going to just sing what I want to sing. Now, I know you get tired of singing your hits. You know, Jimi Hendrix, by the time Jimi Hendrix made Purple Haze in 66 or 67, by the time 1969, 70 came around, he didn't want to play Purple Haze anymore, which is understandable. He was playing Purple Haze in 66. So in 69, he didn't want to play that shit anymore. You change. I understand that. But you don't change to kill your crowd. And that's what Hammer did. And to me, that was the mistake he made. If you wanted to be in church, get out of hip hop and be in church. Don't pass. Oh, you're welcome, O'Ray. Don't pass that shit. Hammer was killing them. Oh, Hammer, the dancing and shit. Everybody is dancing. My boy's mom, when I met her, she was wearing them goddamn Hammer pants. Ringham was a beast. There you go. My favorite song from him was Too Legit to Quit. There you go. I think it was nothing like but a G thing. That they used to say Hammer don't hurt him. Oh yeah, that was Too Big MC. That's where Too Big MC. He was like, that's what he came up. He was like, don't hurt him, Hammer. I mean, he was better than Flavor Flav and the guy from whatever that name of that shit is. He was better. Too Big MC was very entertaining. They both wore the square glasses. They had the same kind of cuts. And Too Big MC was dancing. He was kind of big and shit. But he was doing what Flavor? He was before Flavor Flav. He was doing that shit before Flavor Flav. And it was interesting. The number one hip hop song of all time is Public Enemy's shit. You know, the John Wayne song. That's supposed to be the number one song, conscious song. But you making this song, Can't Trust Them or whatever the fuck that song was named, and you going into them parties. You're going into them parties, but you want to talk shit. They let you talk shit. You signed to them. So they let that come out. Remember, 911's a joke, which was kind of clever. Get up, get down. 911's a joke in your town. Remember that shit? And I hope ain't no soft motherfuckers listening tonight and your feelings hurt. You know, I talk shit about everybody. I hope you talk shit about me. I ain't no perfect motherfucker, but you know my personality by now. It ain't nothing personal about nobody. Shit, I figure as long as I don't talk about your mama, we should be cool. My mom, she was a good old gal. Turn this mother out. There you go. Turn this mother out. I'm telling you, the first time I saw Hammer, he killed it. He killed it. We left that motherfucker just like, whoa, shit, he killed it. He killed it. Shit, but motherfucker had 3,000 people dancing. Can you talk about Snoop Dogg? I get semi-water hate vibe from him. I heard he's partially responsible for Tupac's death. Nah, that's some bullshit. Nothing I can really say about him. A lot of the Panthers was controlled opposition. A lot of them, like we was talking about little Bobby Hutton, when he was killed. It is a good possibility that him and Eldridge Cleaver was having sex. Now I can't say that for sure because Eldridge Cleaver went out there naked. And Eldridge was supposed to say that if you took off all your clothes, they won't shoot you because they can't say you got a gun. But it's very possible that little Bobby Hutton, and Bobby Hutton was the first sacrifice of the Panthers, no doubt. But Bobby come out there with no shirt and Eldridge is naked. So what you think they was doing? And when when the Panthers go to Sacramento, which is storming the Capitol, it's going to war with it. You know, that's why the war on drugs came against us, because of that action. And you didn't see Huey there. Why wasn't Huey there? Bobby giving him some excuse. Oh, Huey, you get too radical. You want to go down and fight people. That's a cover story. But if you look at all the footage 20, 40, 50 years later, you see little Bobby Hutton. He's 17 with a shotgun damn near big as him, and he's the first Panther to get killed. So do you see? They strode him in front of the cameras. Whatever he had to do with Eldridge, he's the first one to get sacrificed. That shit ain't believable. Take off your clothes so they won't shoot you. Is that believable? Ain't nobody doing that shit. They was in there. It looked like messing around. Now, I don't know anything about Bobby, but I'm just saying, look at the circumstances. Eldridge just didn't take his clothes off. And we know Eldridge was a weirdo. We know he was a weirdo. He's fucking beating a fucking pregnant wife. His pregnant wife, Catherine, which you read his letters to her on Soul on Ice, that's some pimp shit. I'll say that. To get a lawyer to fall in fucking love with this two-bit con was some pimp shit. You read them love letters, that is some pimp shit. But he was a fucking beating on his pregnant wife. He wasn't shit. So very likely him and Bobby Hutton was having sex, and they rushed the place. Good point about Hammer B. I remember he did start in the gospel. Well, he was gospel as a young man anyway, though. But you're not going to sell gospel records. Got killed by Orlando Anderson. Maybe he got killed by him. Is it true Marvin Gaye's father, like, man, Marvin Gaye's father was a cross-dresser and a minister, but he was a cross-dresser. Yeah. I mean, look at them pictures of him. His hair's all whipped and shit. Yeah, he was a cross-dresser. So, yeah, his father was like that. But in the churches, you know, that's always been a thing. Tupac ran into some real ones. Angela Davis got George Jackson killed. And the brothers and his brother. Not just George Jackson got his brother killed. Like the picture I put up on Facebook when his brothers try to break him out. And the brothers had, you know, and I love that picture because that picture shows the execution of the Mason. That picture speaks volumes. And I don't know if I have that picture speaks volumes. It shows the murder by us of the Mason, that's a powerful picture. I'm sure I got a copy somewhere in here. That's on my Facebook picture. I'm surprised they don't take that motherfucker down. Let me see. It's got to be in here somewhere. I love that picture. But his brother gets killed. So that's another sacrifice. So yeah, she supplied the guns. Angela Davis, those guns were her guns. So Angela Davis she's been a motherfucking snitch working for the FBI. She ain't no fucking hero. Same way with Elaine Brown. You know that bullshit she wrote about Bunchy Carter, talking about she was a Panther before Bunchy Carter. You fucking lying in your book, bitch. You lying in your fucking book. Bunchy Carter was leery of you. And Bunchy Carter, you set Bunchy Carter up to get killed. Well, maybe I don't have it saved. Thought I did. So Joe Brown tell that story. Joe Brown tell that Elaine Brown is the one reason why Bunchy Carter and John Higgins got murdered. Because she started some shit. So she was an agent. She was a freaking agent. Oh, here we go. This young man right there with the gun and the white shirt on, he only 17. This is a powerful picture. They hate this picture. This is killing the Mason. This is killing the Jesuit. This is killing the Jewish faith. But the young man right there with the gun is only 17. He gets killed by but he kills this judge. He blows his head off. Because if you see, If you see this thing right there, that's a double barrel shotgun taped to his neck. That judge didn't make it. That's why this is one of the most powerful pictures that saves us in a lot of ways. Because we have beat the Jesuit before. We have beat the Jewish faith people before. That is why this picture is so powerful. But this is Angela Davis's guns. And yeah, George Jackson, Soul Brother, Soledad. Yeah. That's one of my favorite pictures. I'm going to get it blowed up. I'm going to try to get a wall made out of that. So that shit's a reminder. Because you get power. That picture is one of the few powerful pictures that we have. It's like coming in May, you know, we having well, there's 2 days out of times. There's one coming up in we're coming up on the 13 calendar. So one's about to expire, and then the other one expires, I think, in May. So there's 2 days out of times, but I've talked about this before. You know, when Rufus Thomas, that's the ghost dance. When he sings the Funky Chicken, and they keep everybody else off the Los Angeles Rams football field, but Rufus Thomas. And again, I've talked about this. If you want to see a living God, you want to see a goddess, watch the girl that she's a Soul Train dancer, but she dances on the breakdown song. That's the divine feminine coming into it. Can't resist that kind of thing. Can't resist that kind of thing. So you want to see a living God, look at the girl in the red dress and when Rufus Thomas sings the breakdown. But yeah, James, I ain't got an opinion on Tupac. Really, How Do You Like It was the only song I really liked. I guess Just Like Daddy, Come to Me When Your Time Is Right, Low Jam on the radio. I like that one too, but How Do You Like It was about the only one I really liked. I didn't mind the one Grab Your Glocks, if that was okay, but as far as a favorite rapper, no, because he just, like, Biggie kills him. Like when they're both in is it maybe the Apollo Theater and they both rap together, he takes one of Biggie's lines. But if you hear Tupac, he had to have his voice a bunch of times over and over again. He would never sound good live. He would have had to have a bunch of, or they said in the Vietnam days, buku background singers. That means many. Buku means many. And he just didn't have the voice. And Biggie kills him because Biggie had the voice. Tupac just didn't have a naturally live concert rap voice. He just didn't. He would have had to have a lot of background people to make his voice sound good. So can't really say I felt one way or another, you know. Can't really say I did like those 3 or 4 songs, but that was about it. So he was never anybody I thought was real. Who is George Jackson? Jeffrey, you might get banned for saying that shit. So look up the Soledad brother. Look up him. He got murdered. He was in Fulton, California prison maybe, but he got killed in prison. He got assassinated in prison. George Jackson was riding with a dude, and the dude robbed a gas station. They got caught. He had an open conviction, open prison sentence. It was open. His buddy robbed $75 while George was in the car. He wasn't even the getaway driver. And he plea bargained, and they didn't give him amount of years. He got basically life for riding in a car. And see, the reason why they was there was his appeal. That's why the brothers, Angela Davis, gave him the guns, and they already knew about it. Shit, the baddest motherfucker, and they made a punk-ass movie to try to make this dude look a punk. One of the baddest brothers that ever lived was that dude in Virginia that fucked all of them up. They talked all that shit and gave him life. That motherfucker jumped up, took the gun, killed the judge, killed the prosecutor, killed the motherfucking cop that was there, killed this other cop, and got the fuck up out of there. And then they said he kidnaps a European girl, and she just talks Jesus to him, and he gives up. But that was a bad motherfucker. 1 minute they talking shit to you, and the next minute you done put heat on them, and we're looking at their body smoking. Now, they might not like this one. They might not like I said that. But that was a bad motherfucker there. He beat the system. It's like one of my boys. He fucking got, he had handcuffs. He beat up 2 cops with his hands tied behind his back. He beat up the cops, knocked them down, beat them up with his hands tied behind his back with handcuffs, jumped in the cop car, drove backwards about 30 miles. He drove backwards. This motherfucker's handcuffed, was driving backwards with his hands behind his back. And they let this motherfucker come back to work too. They hardly do shit to it. They let him come back to work. I was asking, like, how the fuck did you drive backwards like that for so far? He's like, I could just do it. Because his shit was handcuffed, so he had to turn around to drive. And he drove about 30 miles like that. I forgot about that shit till I just mentioned. Now I don't know if they have pictures of that, but yeah, I don't know if they have pictures of the dude in Virginia. I remember in class in college, the professor used to talk about Angela Davis like a hero. No, that bitch ain't no hero. Tupac was, yeah, he wasn't no real thug. That's crazy. I had a professor in college used to love Angela. Yeah. Well, see, but that's Boule thinking. That's Boule thinking. Madison Square Garden with Big Daddy Kane and Shaheem, the rugged child. Oh, okay. It's like the girl dancing wearing red and white polka dots dressed at a concert of Soul Train. Yeah, she has a little dress. It's really like very little, like they used to call them mini skirts. She's wearing mini skirts, but that's a living God. And she's dancing. You see the God has come up in her. But it's not during the Funky Chicken, it's the breakdown. But she used to dance on Soul Train too. You see all of them, you know. The Vanita girl, I think her name was Vanita. She's in Wastack. You see Rerun, he's in Wastack. The dude popping and locking, that dude, he's in Wastack. A lot of the dancers that you later see on Soul Train is in Wastack too. I think that's why they're in it though. But Fred Berry, you see him in that. Shabba-Doo is not though. Shabba-Doo's not in Wastack. And I had to Wastack. I bought Wastack because Richard Pryor. Like if you watch Wastack now, you see all Richard Pryor's lines because it was a little mini movie. It was a movie too. It was like the Black Folks Woodstock. But you see all Richard Pryor's lines. In the album, his lines was between songs. And so like I think one reason why I love the Dramatics, because what you see is what you get was on that I think it was a 2-disc set too. But that was the first time I was able to buy a Richard Pryor album was Wastack. But it had music that I just loved. You know, it had songs that I still love to this day. Shit. You had Isaac Hayes, but the Funky Chicken. Guys, the Funky Chicken. What was that? It's funny. Those of you that are old enough to remember Soul Train in the 70s, it's everybody did the up and down dancing. Even popping and locking. It's up and down dancing. It's really funny. You watch old Soul Train, the music hit, everybody's up and down dancing. Almost like the horses on the carousel, but it's like 70s was a lot of up and down dancing. Everybody's up and down. You know, it's up and down dancing. Even pop and lock and you going up and down. But it's really funny. You see all the up and down dancing. Is it the girl wearing red and white polka dot? I think she's just in all. I'd have to watch it again, but watch the breakdown. Like play it from the breakdown. And when they break down, they go to, you hear the crowd go crazy because they put the camera on her, and she's, I don't know if it's a big board then, but everybody's paying attention to her, and it is her. But she's got red on. I don't know, maybe polka dots, maybe. You can't see what she got on underneath there. She got some skimpy panties on. But it's the chick in the red. But she danced on Soul Train. It's her. But she was a Soul Train dancer too. I don't know her name. I don't think she was a regular Soul Train dancer, but she's standing up and she's kind of doing little dances like this. But that's her. That's a goddess. She's beautiful. Wow. Yeah, I don't know her name. Girl dancing. Yeah. That's where Biggie said the line, I got 7 Mac 11s and 38s and 9 9s and 10 10s. The shit never ends. And then Tupac copies his line. Because I remember I was dating this girl and we was taking her daughter to, she played AAU, so we was taking her daughter to some games. And I was like, play both of them. And because I had him one back from me at that. She was a big Tupac fan. And I remember I was like, listen to these and you tell me who's the best. And after both of them spit their lines, she was like, yeah, Biggie's shit way better. And it was. It's like, it doesn't even compare. Then you got to use one of Biggie's lines. So But no, the shit was bad. He said, you can't count my riches even if you got MC Hammer in them 357 bitches. Oh, the crowd goes crazy when he says that shit. And that is just so much off the top of the head. You can't count my riches even if you got MC Hammer in them M357 bitches. Oh, that shit was raw. That shit was raw when he said that. And that had to be from the top of the head. Yeah, Moray, I agree. 838. Yep. She dancing to watch that concert. She was bad. Everybody was kung fu fighting. This is my shit. I like that too. I think that's Carl Thomas. I think was it Tupac wasn't a thug. He's just a thug type shit from time to time. Well, he wannabe, wannabe. He was a wannabe gangster. That was his role, though. That's why he went to the Juilliard school to teach him that role. That's why what was that movie, the fake shit where he killed the Fred? Juice. That's why he was so good for Juice, because that was his part. He played Juice from then on. He never stopped being Juice. Well, I'm almost hour 40. Let me give the divinations. So we should be, we went up. So it's 13 platoons, 0 cartoons, 8 tunes. We should be up to 7 Uno. And we are in 3 kin. And 3 kin is and I hear them little comments y'all was doing in my little punk ass divination. Whoever left that comment, don't do punk ass divinations when I have the Awaken one on. I heard you. I saw that your little comment. I have to block you next time. I know she's better than me, but I don't do this for a living like she does. I probably could, though. So the energy is out of the west. It's called Akba, house, enclosing darkness, night body, place of mystery, heart, and internal organs. And Akbal is right here. That is the Mayan fractal. You see, they closed down the pyramid of the sun because they said motherfuckers wasn't wearing their diapers on their face. In this image, we see a girl who went to Cali, the sacred house, to pray or meditate. We know what she is doing because in front of her is the sign of the moon, which represents the mind. The symbols on top represents the water, fluctuation, the arrow, temptation, and the heart, passion, and feeling. With this simple symbolic system, the Toltec painter shows us the full meaning of Cali as the place for introspection and reflection about issues of life. Having emphasized the spiritual character of the world, Cali now, we may consider its general meaning as house, which is the container of family, the living hearts of people, also a container of the sleeping time and the precious dreamer time, which is so important to the Toltec people. Cali represents your home, your family life, your personal, intimate world, as opposed to your external working world and social environment. The house is the temple where you keep what is most sacred for you and what is the source of the renewal of your energy and strength. If your house does not fulfill these functions, that means you need to examine how you are dealing with your intimate world. When you get this card, you will be looking at your home life and your own personal persona as this is affected by what you are experiencing there. You will be examining your close family relationships, which will include not only those who live with you under the same roof, but also relatives who may not live in the same house, but who you may have a close connection. You will also be looking at the whole spirit in your inner home. Occasionally, you may relate to Cali in your dreaming world, especially if it's time you're consulting the oracle. You are having repetitive dreams that leave you with a strong feeling that their meaning is very important in your life. In such times, you may do the reading by associating the card and its placement on the board with the dream that is coming to you. Don't be surprised if both the association in your home and family life has association with dreams turn to be one and the same. And I want to share one of my dreams with everyone. I had a dream last night, and I'll tell you this, she legit, let me say it right. Let me get this paper. She legit, this stuff right there for meditating, but lucid dreaming, it is really good for lucid dreaming. And last night, I had a dream. I was a damn Confederate fucking soldier. And it was like I had a big battle coming. I had a because they didn't just have, like, they had muskets in World War in the Civil War, but they also had carbines. But they had the carbines where you had to cock it, and it was like a repeater. Oh, you had to like almost Winchester, so you had to cock it and then you Winchester, but it was a carbine. But I remember I had one of those kind of rifles, and I had a room, so it was the night before a big battle. I just remember my preparation. And as I'm getting ready, it just reminded me so much of the way I would prepare before a football game. Because one thing that playing football, especially the higher you go up, you get very superstitious. I mean, you almost do, like, if you win for some weeks, you do shit almost identical. It becomes really interesting to watch what each person does. But it's a very superstitious sport. You don't get to see that, but if you watch cats, it's very superstitious. Everyone, when you win, you try to do the same things over and over again. And so it just reminded me of that as I saw myself getting it together, cleaning my guns, because officers got to carry a rifle and a gun. But I remember having the type of that type of gun, I forget, carbine, the early carbines that they did have in the Civil War. I think if the better gun would have been to have a Henry, because there's people that did have Henrys, but I had the kind of type of carbine. But I just remember getting the ammo together, putting my officer's clothes on, and just a few minutes before they came and got me. Yeah, and I had a sword too. Yeah, I remember that. And then I had to put the sword on because I waited. That was last. The sword was last. And I remember, they called me out, so I went from my room and was going out into, going to the battle in command. But it was interesting that, but this She Legit shit, I got to order some more. Next time I'm ordering a 5-month supply of that bitter ass shit. Did you see the Atlanta TV show with the episode where they was trying to talk about Michael Jackson's twin brother? You think that was true? I don't know. Marlon, because him and Marlon wasn't that far off in age. What section are you in Justice League? So no, I'm going to ask. I want you to see the Flash scene. I got like Flash's story. No, I think I'm at the point where they just talked about the Robot Man. Whatever his name is, the Robot Man's name. I think I'm at that point. I'm like right at 2 hours. So I watched all of Godzilla last night. Last night. Yeah, I watched all of Godzilla last night. So I'm going back to see Godzilla tomorrow. I was thinking they showed my studio or my movie theater. I'm gonna either have to go to Burnsville or I'm going to go to Eden Prairie. But I'm going to go watch it at the movies too. It was that good to me. The sound and the colors is worth it to see it on the big screen. And there ain't many movies I feel like that. I see movies that be stupid as hell. I used to be scared of the Soul Train dancers in the beginning. Then when I got older, I realized it was a train that has the soul. What section? Yeah, that's where I'm at, Jeffrey. So I'm at 2 hours. But let me tell you about. I had a dream. That I got murdered by a Soul Train dancer. I had a dream so real that I was talking shit. I was in this I was at like a city hall or something, and I was talking shit to these two niggas, and they were both Soul Train dancers. And one of the Soul Train dancers pulled out a knife and he cut my fucking throat. And the shit was so real that I could taste blood running, where I was starting to suffocate on the blood. And I remember I had that dream. I was still playing football then, so I was like 19 or 20. And I remember I told my mother, she's like, what's the odds of the Soul Train dancer getting you? Like, why would the Soul Train dancer be that mad at you? But I remember that. I can remember how the blood tasted as my throat was cut. I remember tasting blood. I remember starting to suffocate. But that never came true. That dude got to be older than me. Most of them cats was older than me. Shaba dude, he was older than me. King of the Monsters was good. Did you see Godzilla, King of the Monsters? I saw the new one out yesterday. Today marks the 37th that Marvin Gaye got murdered. Yeah, April Fools. Matter of fact, today was my younger brother's birthday. He turned 55 today. And I remember I was thinking about this earlier. when he was born, my stepfather was laughing with people, and he was like, "We almost had a fool," because my brother was born like 11 something at night. He was almost born on April 1st. But I just remember my stepdad laughed. Was like, "We almost had a fool." I remember he said that because my brother was so close to being born on the 1st. His shit was like 11:50 something. So he was almost born on the 1st. But I just remember, never forgot my stepdad said that. He said, "We almost had a fool." That's what he said when my brother was born. And I don't remember my mother being pregnant with my brother. Out of all the things I remember, I remember when we brought him home. I remember that because I've told the story many times. You could buy barrels of diesel and just have it at the crib. And that's my stepfather must have had, so he was born in 66. So my stepdad had a 63, probably a 62, 63 C-class. Oh, if that was such a thing then. But it was a 4-door, but it was diesel. And he had his own diesel. He bought a barrel every month, and we brought him home in that Mercedes. He came home in the Mercedes. Yep. And I told the story. We used to have a Volkswagen bus, and the damn Volkswagen bus had a space heater. And I mean a propane space heater. Because remember, Volkswagens was made so cheap, they didn't have heaters. If anybody had a 60s Volkswagen, it did not have a heater. They went by heat recovery. So they said that your engine would get warm enough, and then you blow blowers in the engine, it didn't work. Your shit would fog up when you drive them. Your shit will fog up. And so this bus did not have a heater. And so they put propane heaters came when you bought that thing. And the propane heater had a space it locked into. But do you know if that car got hit and that propane got disrupted, it'd blow the fucking people up? Very unsafe. Very unsafe. I didn't even know. I was telling my friend. My friend was, he's a car historian. He was like, that's how they came. I'm like, really? I thought my stepdad just like, this shit's cold and let's have this. He's like, no, they came with that shit. You know how unsafe that shit is? You riding in a vehicle with fucking gas propane, something. Yeah. They was trying to kill each other. So yeah, I remember that I got off work and I thought people was April fooling me. But that's called death by police, because Marvin Gaye had left and got off of Freebase. And as soon as he got back, that's how they try to destroy you. As soon as you get back, they put that shit in your face. Richard Pryor faced the same thing. Like, look at Richard Pryor when he comes back from Africa. He's on Johnny Carson with a stick he had brought back. Richard Pryor was on point, the most he had ever been on point. But again, they don't want that Richard Pryor. They want the Richard Pryor that's the crackhead, that's the Freebase head, because that makes him weak and it's easier to take advantage and steal his money. So they don't want they didn't want the Richard Pryor that came from Africa. They had to destroy that Richard Pryor. So they had to get him high. And like Jim Brown telling it, Richard Pryor tried to kill himself on Freebase, skin grafts and everything. When he talking about the first time they had to take some of that dead skin off, and he talks about it felt like, it was so painful to get that dead skin off him. He went through all that just to start fucking freebasing again. The first time he's interviewed, you can see the shit. He's not fully grafted. He does the interview with Barbara Waters. I guess he was hitting Barbara Waters too. But he does the interview, and this motherfucker started freebasing again. But that's how they want it. They want you weak like that. They don't want you in your power. They want you weak. Because you chasing this drug and that's all you thinking about. Like JoJo Dancer show you. He show you he's drunk, and like Richard Pryor talks shit about his first lawyer that stole money from him. Shit, this one motherfucker that stole $1 million from Ali and they ain't never do nothing about it. The dude just was so smooth and just got him. Ali gave this motherfucker $1 million. And I don't mean taxed million. I mean a million. Motherfucker just chalked it up. Dude had game. Oh, but remember, Ali gave the Nation of Islam $1 million too. I was born May 16th at 1:23 a.m. Okay. I was born in the morning. I was born on June 30th in the morning. And I looked at one of my births, and it wasn't the right one because I didn't see my father there. My mother said my father was there when I was born. The one I saw, he wasn't there. My grandmother was there, but my mother's like, no, that motherfucker was in there. I was like, hey, okay. I turned into the wrong channel. Light him up. But I remember that day when Marvin Gaye got killed, Spending all my money all over this town, and I wouldn't be doggone. Hey, 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 I'll be long gone. Oh, shit, Heard It Through the Grapevine. The Heard It Through the Grapevine was one of the few songs that two people around the same time took it to number one. Now, Me and Mrs. Jones was sung by the Dramatics and Billy Paul, but Billy Paul's reached number one. I think the Dramatics only topped the top 100. Another song with the Dramatics is Be My Girl. Michael Henderson sings Be My Girl, the same guy who sings Lucky Valentine. The Dramatics kill Be My Girl. When the humming in the beginning, that's you can't beat it. Motherfuckers don't hum like that's why I like Moray. He reminds me of that. I just said because I couldn't remember the Dramatics. It'd come to me. Ron Banks hums and Be My Girl. He starts Be My Girl. He hums. He goes, hums. And it's just like makes the shit the bomb. But it's that like 5-part harmony. Temptations had a little bit of that too. But then Michael Henderson sings Be My Girl too. His ain't that good. That's why I even like Me and Mrs. Jones better by the Dramatics than Billy Paul. Again, the harmony of everybody. But Billy Paul was a child prodigy, so they was gonna give him a hit. What I'm saying, my time of birth was 1, 2, 3. Oh, there you go. I got you, Lorenzo. Wow. 1, 2, 3. Yep. 1, 2, 3. I got you. Okay. That's interesting. That's some synchronistic shit there, Lorenzo. Do you think people call this situation too early and things will go back to normal, or is this the calm before the storm? Most things haven't happened at all. Well, the thing is, and I'll bite a little bit of quantum of science work. He was right. He's right saying they anticipated black folks wasn't going to take this shit. They was anticipating most people wasn't going to take that shit. And they happy with the people that's stupid and took the shit. You love watching this shit. You stupid if you took that. You are not an informed person. You are brain dead. You believe everything you watch on TV. Because that's what I put on Facebook. I'm like, why do you think you need it? Did you need the shit last year? But no, they put out new normal. And we'll get to the new normal when we get the shots. And my uncle wrote me some Uncle Tom shit like that. Like, once you get the shot and then we can travel. I'm like, you dumb motherfuckers. When couldn't you travel in America? When couldn't you? Now, maybe if you want to go fucking some other country, they might make you have that shit. There's no damn place I want to go but South America and Mexico. That is it. And I doubt they make you have it for that shit. There's some shit down there that's worse than this bullshit in them countries. So there's no way they're going to say that you can't travel and they want the money anyway. You rent a private boat, you ain't even got to have a passport. There's parts of the country you can jump in. You better not get caught in the countries, but it's you got a boat. They let motherfuckers go in. So no, you can't get in. They'll catch you. Wink, wink. You just take some guns with you. I don't want to go to Africa. I remember one of my Boule teammates, and he's definitely Boule. He's a Kappa. They went to fucking Greece. Now, it was some Trojans, and it was some Greeks before, but not the shit you're taught. The shit you're taught is not anything of what is considered your culture. So why would you want to go there? And I just looked at that's some shit that Boule would do. There's nothing over there. I don't want to fucking go to Rome. I don't want to see none of that shit, that dirty shit over there. I don't want to go to Paris. I don't want to go to Spain. I definitely don't want to fucking go to Africa. What the fuck would I want to go to Africa for? Well, you can go see the pyramids. I got a mound 45 minutes away from me. What do I need that pyramid for? Where did they learn how to use the pyramids? They learned from Americans. I'm talking shit, but it's true. So it's, you know, they anticipate people ain't gonna use it. They want to stop another revolt because they know this shit again. It's a million people talking about they're gonna go with this Floyd shit. This million motherfuckers talking about if Floyd get off, it's gonna be a million motherfuckers down there. So they don't want that to ricochet the rest of this country. They want to fry that motherfucker and then the rest of the country because they know look how it reverberated around the world. That was one of the few things that everybody around the world was pissed. PSYOP or not, it pissed everybody else around the world. And these motherfuckers wasn't expecting that shit. I mean, they trying to do everything they can to stop it because they still looting people in. Because they know that a lot of dumb motherfuckers forget the cause of why you in the streets. And you know a lot of weak motherfuckers want that bullshit at Target or Finish Line, Foot Locker. You know, they know that our people are children brained. They know that. They know they're weak people that would want to go. Why the fuck would you break into Action Auto? If you don't know the part number, you sitting there trying to rob a place that the computer's down, you never find your part number. So how you just going into an Action Auto place and just randomly stealing brakes, randomly stealing calipers, randomly stealing rack and pinions? I mean, it just doesn't work like that. Plus, that shit's heavy. I mean, you can only steal so many wiper blades, floor mats. That's about all you can get. Some smell goods. Most of that shit got burned down because it's not practical. Even Target. Who the fuck is taking Target clothes? I mean, who's watching me right now that's like, you know what? They're about to riot in Targets, and I think we can go get that sweatsuit you've been looking at. For real, that sweatsuit, that tight one, that one with the gray, with the hoodie. Man, I'm down there. Who's watching me that feel like that? That you just had to go steal some Target shit. But again, the first shit that was cleared out in Target was toys. So you know it was women. This motherfucker telling me it's time to go to bed. Like, motherfucker, it's time to go to bed. I like that, nigga. It's time to go to bed. Jeffrey, you are dominating my line. I'm the same way. I'd rather just travel in the Western Hemisphere. There you go. Look at what we know. Now, do you believe the situation was a psyop? I believe that we saw on TV wasn't the full truth. Partially. I mean, again, they arrested Floyd a year before. In 19, they arrested Floyd with 6 or 7 of them. It was almost a walkthrough. Then we know Floyd was a Mason. You know, I was the one that put Floyd's shit on the porno shit. Another YouTuber sent it to me, and I put it on Facebook. I ain't give a fuck. And a lot of people was mad about that shit. It's like, who cares that he was in a porno? Shows that man could have been an actor. That's what the point is, that the man might have been an actor. And then the pose. That's why I put the pose of the WWE wrestler posing on one of them brothers like that. Put his knee on his neck and then looked up. I caught that shit. So I know they was happy when I took that shit down because that probably won't play again. But it was the same thing. It was that disgrace shit. And the brother wrestler, the ones that had the fruity motherfucking cereal box that was dials in them. Which wrestlers was that? Kofi or one of them motherfuckers, you know? I don't know. One of them dudes. So part of it, part of me thinks that it probably wasn't real. Part of me sees that. Part of me sees that this is a test case. Because again, we've had 3 different cases like that. And so Young was the first one, and they shut down the 4th precinct. They shut down that street. I think it's Golden Valley Road or it's Plymouth. I can't think of which road it is. That police station in the hood, as they call over north, which is some retarded sounding shit. Well, where do you live? Oh, I live over north. And then motherfuckers will talk like that shit too. I ain't said that shit ever. I've been here 14 years. I never call it like they do. My children and their mama do. Oh, I live over north. Fuck that stupid ass talk. Over where? But that's what they call it, over north. They don't call it north side, over north. Just like here, they say, are you going to come with? Not go with me. Are you going to come with? That's a Minnesota Youper. Youpers is motherfuckers that live in the Upper Peninsula. It used to be a TBS show. It was about Youpers, and that's what it's Youper talk. Yeah, I'm not coming with shit. Rassler's last name was Floyd Montez. Floyd, there you go. Floyd, yeah. And I caught that one. I had that on the other channel. I caught that shit, and I was like, that's some bullshit, WWE. That is some bullshit. That you would rehash that shit. But this is definitely a test case place, because the first time I ever saw a YouTube live was when they killed the guy here for supposedly reaching for his permit to carry. Yeah, that was trying to stop you, because the dude at Pittsburgh I've talked about that many times. The dude in Pittsburgh got killed the same way. One day his brother's calm, the next day his brother's doing a psyop. They set us up, yo. They set us up. They told us to get these. Now they're killing us. Day before, he's calm. His brother just got killed. This motherfucker's calm. Well, I just feel bad. My brother got killed, and I feel bad. I want to know everything else. Then the next day, they tricked us, y'all. They tricked us. They set us up for having these. You could tell it was a video director. It was a MTV video director. It was an MTV video. It was nothing real. The day before your brother got killed, you'd be crying more than days later. So you see the psyop that they put us through. But this has been a test case. And it's not a lot of black folks here. Again, I mentioned this. Out of 3.5 million people, we are roughly about 300,000 people. Out of 3.5 million, there are more Hmong here than there are brothers and sisters. And there are roughly, if you break that down, there's roughly 2 million of Europeans. They're everywhere. You just can't get away from them. I'm just joking. But there's a lot of Europeans. You go days. Like the Mall of America, you go out like before this time, when the Mall of America has 35,000. Well, before all this hit, it generally had 35,000 people out there all the time, every day. The average was 35,000. And then it went up to 100,000 on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like you try to go out there on a Saturday before all this shit hit, if you don't, my brother came one time early. I told him, you better get out there at 9:10, because if you don't, you're going to be stuck on the highway. And he called me. He's like, you were right, man. We're stuck on the highway because the parking's filled. I mean, they got 2 big, giant places to park. And now you can park by IKEA. But, you get stuck on the highway. It was 100,000 people. Do you know what that's like? Be around 100,000 people. And this is the thing. You wouldn't hardly see any brothers and sisters. Now, as the day got later, you would see him more in the evenings. But if you went out there at noon, you would see maybe a handful of brothers and sisters. I would say 10 out of 100,000. You go to every floor, you might see 4 or 5 on every floor, but you just wouldn't see brothers and sisters. And it's a tourist attraction too. I've met people here that have never been out there. Their whole life, they've never been out there. Because there's local malls. Like I got 2 malls I could go to. I could go to Burnsville Mall, or I could go to Eden Prairie. They're both closer. Eden Prairie ain't got shit, so I tend not to go out to that one. But Burnsville Mall, and then I live near an outlet. I saw a motherfucker that got his YouTube channel is called Nike Outlet. This motherfucker goes and reports on what the fuck is at Nike Outlets. And he's got hundreds of thousands subscribers. And this motherfucker just goes into Nike Outlets and show you the shit in Nike Outlet. That is very brilliant. That is very brilliant. The motherfucker's just like, you know what? I go to the outlet all the time. Maybe I can report on this shit. Why not? Why not? I'm trying to get Lurking to send me some stickers, Lurking. Do something. Down here we say north or north side. I had to create a Caucasian chick by calling it South Goddard, Goshi, South Goshi. That bitch is South Side. There you go. That's what I call it too. That over north, that's some retarded sounding shit, but that's how they talk here. And the people are so stupid they call it that. But I mean, they're under a psyop of that part of town. I mean, the police aren't doing their job, and they begging for police. You know, the police are causing all the crimes. Again, carjacking. Why would you jack a car now? It makes no sense. The carjacking went up 300%. Makes no sense. Back when I carjacked cars, it was to take them, and I would make damn near 10 grand off one car because the car was worth more in parts than it was the whole car. Now, all the parts, other than the plastic parts, all the metal parts, and you can cut up the catalytic converters, I'll say that. But most of the metal parts, they're all stamped. Most of the major parts, they're all stamped. Everything is stamped now. So that's why New Jersey Drive was stupid as hell. Nobody just stealing cars to joyride in them. It was a business back then. And they turned it into a nigger thing. You know, look at Rob. Rob stole a car today. And they was like, oh, look at him. He's getting down. He stole the car today. There goes George. George stole one too. Goddamn, George, get it. Do you see how niggerly that shit was? That's just straight up some nigger shit. Cheering because a motherfucker done stole the car. No business about it, and that ain't why it happened. That's why I don't like Al Prophet, because Al Prophet doesn't say anything about YBI and carjacking. YBI started carjacking, or they made it spread across the nation, and he only talks about the dope deal. So that's an agenda, Al Prophet. You only want to look at us as we're good at just dope dealing, and all you showing is CIA operatives over and over again. Motherfuckers talking about Big Nate. Nate was in the Army. He works for the Army still. He was an Army hitman. None of these motherfuckers is real. They all is created. That's what you got to understand. If you saw a big dope person in your city back in years ago, they worked for the government. Just like they showed OG Mac again. That was a government informant if it was ever a government informant. He brought that West Coast gang shit to the East. And they put it in the prisons because they learned from the Nation of Islam. Because the Nation of Islam did the same thing. They started recruiting heavily in the prisons, and that's where it spread. So they just took that same formula. They said, OG Mac, we're going to put you in prison in New York, do that gang shit. We're gonna let you do some little petty things to stay in control of the prison. And then when it goes out in the streets, then it'll go everywhere else, and we'll have this petty killing of each other. Because that's the full Willie Lynch. It was all a psyop. But in the back of motherfucker's mind, it plays out. If he's light and you're dark, well, you shouldn't trust him. You light, you boule. That's what they were trying to say. You light, you Willie Lynch. If keep the light ones as the house niggas. That's Malcolm X tells that. And Malcolm X worked for them peoples too. Remember, he was getting that government money. Elijah Muhammad set it up like that. Hey, Ova, thank you. Nick Taylor shared a video of the 13 and 15-year-old girls in D.C. stealing the car and killing the man. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't watch it, though. Savage mode activate. Savage mode. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't watch it, but you have to wonder. 13 and 15, you know. I mean, you got to be a punk to let them take your car. 4 people killed in an office building in California. And they detained the shooter. Again, that's a psyop. That's a psyop saying, if brothers kill people, we'll kill the brothers. But if Europeans kill people, we'll take them to Burger King and let them have a burger. And if you never saw a psyop, that's a psyop. They did that for that purpose. So you motherfuckers could put that on your Facebook. You know, they don't, we get killed if we do that shit, but if they do that shit, they go to Burger King. Simple Simon the Pieman. It's that kind of shit. Well, guys, I'm extremely tired. It's been a short day, long day, and I'm getting tired. And I've almost went for 2 hours, so that's probably enough. Very unfortunate video. It is. I have not watched it, but I caught somebody else talking about that before Nick showed. I caught it on the news or something. So I saw that a little before that. So no need to see that. It's, you know, the thing is to look at the shit that's really organic and to look at the shit that they cause. And that's the thing on Floyd. Floyd very well could have been inorganic because I've watched these motherfuckers here practice that shit. However, the response was an organic response. And it was the rebirth of BLM because BLM was dead and gone. It was dead and gone. And they were not here initially. They were not part of the organic. But you see how TV built them up? What was the fourth, fifth day? They was in every picture, every newscast. Not at first. Not at first they weren't. They weren't here at first. But when the news started showing pictures of it, they in every picture. Then the celebrities come in. Nick Cannon comes in. Nick Cannon comes in, he's walking in front of everybody, and what do you see in the signs? BLM. Because after BLM got kicked out of the Mall of America and they thought they was going to do another strike or whatever the fuck at the Mall of America, and they shut the airport down. After that, they died. So they sent their people here, quick, we need you in all the pictures. And what did all the newscasts do? After a week, every time you saw something from Minneapolis, you saw one of their goddamn signs. You saw one of their goddamn signs. What does the Boule? What does the Boule do in the NBA? What did Boule, LeBron James, Nate Thurman do? Oh, let's put Black Lives Matter. And that's going to be our motto. That's our new mascot. Why? Why was it that if all the things you'd have thought they'd have put Floyd's name in there? That just shows you the sellouts. LeBron and the other sellouts. No, don't put George's name in there. Put the group's name in here. My neighbor got a sign in her window. She's a native. I mean, she had children by a brother, but she's a native. I think her son lives that's his apartment, which I don't give a fuck. But he's half native. But once you have children by us, you us. Run around the city shooting up Asian spas and say it's not a racial crime. Let's just say he's a sexual frustrate. Yeah. Oh yeah. Same time, Lauren, the video is really sad, truly. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm not watching that shit. I heard the reporting. But I'm just, this is what we're faced with. They try to take power of something that's organic and turn it into getting money. Black Lives Matter got hundreds of millions. And all the local shops, they ain't benefit. The headquarters of that. And then they got bad publicity saying they want to get rid of the regular family. The nuclear family, they want to blow it up. Take the father out. Then it got reported in that sweet video that man did. They took it out. They didn't want that bad publicity because they was getting all this money. Floyd made Black Lives Matter rich. Let's call it what it is. Without Floyd, they was a dead organization. You don't think they had to pay Black Lives Matter to put their name in the NBA bubble? You think they just was able to do that for free? Well, Black Lives Matter, we're going to put you in every game. We're going to put you on the court, and we're going to put you on our jerseys. You think that was free? You didn't think they got paid for that? Really? You didn't think they got paid for that? And LeBron Boule James, and Boule is educational. This motherfucker ain't graduated from college. But do you see how the Boule bend the rules? That's what's so pitiful about NFL. You got a damn near 50-year-old dude is the face of the NFL still. That is how desperate they are. They don't have a new face. They're so desperate that they got to hold this 50-year-old man up. LeBron the same way. The league is so desperate that they waiting for Luka to try to take its place, but Luka ain't that good. So it's going to take some years. So they got to keep LeBron, and no matter how many hair plugs he gets put in there, which he looks ridiculous. And I guess they're making him do that. I don't see anybody. Watch a hair plug. Watch him do that hair plug. See how painful that shit is. No one would ever do it. And you see the back of his shit, he's had it done. And just to get some shit to grow around here. You see what Doc has done? Doc has got his shit tattooed. Look at Doc. Doc, next time you see Doc shit is tattooed. He got a tattoo line. And because look, he got hair, he got a tattoo line here, then they spray it a little bit, and there's nothing back here. What did Charles Barkley and them say? Just come home. Come home. like Tiger Woods shit, like the David Robertson commercial that copies Matumbo. David Robertson shit is ball back here, and he let a patch grow in here. Why would anybody put you on TV looking like that? Why would you be on TV looking like that? Why would you be on TV where you totally got the bozo look back here and you just got a patch growing right here? How does that look good? Why would anybody present themselves like that? How would you look in the mirror like, I don't care that I got that little patch right there. I get the rest of it trimmed at the barbershop, but that little patch right there just looks good. I noticed the tattoo too. Yeah, Doc got his shit tattooed to get a tattooed hairline. Salute, Sebastian. Thank you. Normalize. Luca, not Zion. There you go. Tamar Rice, mother called BLM Tamagamaru out for using her son's death to profit and clout. There you go. And they definitely did it for Floyd because they was dead. They was dead. Before Floyd, they would have disappeared. They needed Floyd to survive. Floyd gave them life. And like I mentioned before, every time you saw him after the fourth or fifth day, you saw a sign. Look at it at the beginning. You didn't see them there. When you saw the dude in black killing, breaking the window Action Auto, there was no Black Lives Matter when it was organic. When these young people hit the streets, that's what they feared. These young people in Minneapolis is the one hits the streets. That's what they didn't expect. Now you had others come in and try to take over. And I've told how they could have defeated the people was more than when they first put cops. It was just cops at first. Cops without loaded rounds. The loaded rounds was at the Capitol. But them cops just had spray. And again, the way to beat an L ambush is attack it in the middle. So the way to beat that, all they had to do was attack the middle and have everybody flank them. It was a way they could have fucked the cops up. It was a way they could have defeated the cops. Now, I ain't saying the National Guard that got guns, but them cops that they tried to push, they could have beat them down. They could have beat them. If it all out just fought them, they could have overwhelmed them. It was a finite number of cops. You had hundreds of thousands of people. And I don't give a fuck how many guns or whatever. You got thousands of motherfuckers running at you. Yeah, you're going to get tired. Why you think that the 3rd precinct, they let them burn it down? The day before, they rocked the shit out that place. Knocked everybody's windows out. They couldn't hold it. They didn't have enough people. You understand? When they took over the 3rd precinct, they didn't have enough people to defend that shit. They got beat off that shit. That's why they gave it up. They was overwhelmed. They couldn't protect it. So it wasn't that they wanted to protect it. That you think they really wanted some guns got taken? You think they wanted their computers and shit fucked up? They had to leave all that shit. They talking about $1 million in damages. That's all that. They lost all that. Because they got overwhelmed. And if you had real strategy, they would have kept fighting. Police doing an L sweep. You attack an L sweep right in the middle. And ain't nothing they can do. Even if they had real guns, even if their guns had ammo, if you attack them in the middle, who they gonna shoot? They ain't gonna shoot across from each other. You send 300 people at the middle of that shit. Who they gonna shoot? So it was a way to defeat that shit. Now, you can't defeat a tank. You can't defeat a tank, but them motherfuckers doing the sweep, you could have defeated them. The people could have defeated them. They had enough people. They had more than enough people. That's probably why I stayed my old ass home, because I could have taught people that. They'd have had me up in some fort, put me under the motherfucker. You taught them how to do that shit. You told them how to beat us, and we can't have you out there in the street because you told them how to beat us. See, what I'd have did is I'd have had a big speaker, that song, I Ain't Never Scared, and just blasted that shit while they fighting them motherfuckers. It was more people. It was more people than cops. No, hey, Mark, thank you for joining me. Do you think they really was planning? No, they was never trying to kill Uncle Imbecile. They was never trying to kill him. Who? For what? He ain't that valuable. You're about them trafficking children on these evergreen containers. Yeah, Mark, I got a lot of that from Jeffrey and Jody. They keep me up to speed on that kind of stuff. You can destroy tank treads, best believe. Oh, I mean, we saw the what is the IEDs? That's how they was beating them in Iraq. You bury it in the road and they don't see it coming. Bloomy. That's right. When they got to drive at night, you can bury that shit. So yeah, I don't disagree. I'm just saying that tank can be without treads and still blow your goddamn house up. So you got to keep that in mind. Just because it ain't going no more, that cannon's still working. Unless you got one of them Stinger missiles that has phosphorus to cut through the metal, yeah, you're not fucking with that cannon. That's a cannon. Cannon is a cannon. Play No Limit Soldiers. Yeah. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but the word is on the street though. If he gets off, it's supposed to be the day that his thing is verdict. They say 1 million people is coming in town. So they ain't got 1 million soldiers, but that's what they say. They say 1 million people are coming in town on the verdict day. So that's what downtown is shutting back up, and this is kind of sad because everything was opening up. But it's about a month from now, when they're about to read that verdict, they say 1 million motherfuckers is going to be downtown. So they're going to try to do everything they can to stop people, but it looks like they're going to get overwhelmed. So we will see. Well, guys, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show, and I can't do no more. But thank you. Thank you for sitting here. Those that have sat with me for an amount of time, I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. This makes I was able to do 7 days last week, so I did 2 shows. Monday, I am going to do the championship game. I'll probably do a little bit of the Final Four this weekend too. I'll do some commentary. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. 8 Wind is timeless. As you know, I give the Eshawn poem. So I'm not a New York rapper or LA gang banger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slayer. Thank you, everybody. Until we meet again.